Hello everyone and welcome back to Football Manager 2019 and a brand new tactics video for the game. I have been trying desperately to find the best possible tactic out there at the moment for the FM19 beta, and I'm pretty sure I found it because I've tried out about 10 different tactics with at least 2 clubs each, trying to find out which one leads to the best results, and the majority of them lead to me getting sacked because what I'm doing is making sure that my assistant's in place, the tactic is set up, and then we're going on holiday for a year with different clubs and just seeing where we finish in the league, because you can now set the team so that the assistant manager has to follow your tactical instructions by clicking that little thing there, which means that you don't have to worry about them using different tactics or going off piece. They will stick to your tactic, and this is the tactic that I found. I found it on the fmbase.co.uk website by Total Football Fan 9. I will leave a link to it down below. It's called Ashbringer, I believe, if I remember right. Yep, Ashbringer version 4 we're on now. He does update this tactic really often, so you need to keep going back to download it and make sure you've got the most up-to-date tactic possible. Now, the two teams we're going to try this with is Arsenal and Newcastle. We'll look at Arsenal first, then we'll take a look at Newcastle. You may be aware I do have a Newcastle series on my channel for the beta at the moment, so we'll see if they're doing better than I'm doing, but I'm going to guess they probably are. Now, before we get into the results and how this works with the tactic, do make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. There's going to be loads more tactics videos as the game develops and we go forward through the year. There's going to be loads of experiments when the game fully releases on November 2nd, and of course there'll be playthrough series as well. And if you've got suggestions for videos, let me know down in the comments. Anything that you guys want to see, let me know, and I'll do what I can to get them up on the channel. So drop a like on this video as well, and let me know how this tactic works for you, because I am pretty sure it's the best one in the game right now. Having tried so many of the really highly thought of ones, I think this is the best. So the way that this tactic works, you can see there's a sweeper keeper in support, which seems to be the go-to keeper this year. Now, interestingly, they're not wing-backs, they are normal full-backs. The one on the right is an attacking full-back, the one on the left is a supporting full-back. You then have 2 central defenders, both on defend, with a defensive midfielder in support and then a segundo volante in attack. So 2 defensive midfielders there, but one of them pushing further up the pitch and making the most of this space just in front of the 2 midfielders there, which allows the strikers to act almost as a separate unit. So you've got an inside forward on the right in a support role, an inside forward on the left in a support role, a shadow striker lurking just behind, and then an advanced forward on attack, out, up, ahead. Now, this is a balanced mentality, which means that you're not going for massive goals, and that seems to be something that people have got wrong this year, is they're chasing loads and loads of goals through possession football, but it means they can see just as many as they score, and I'm hoping that this one works out a little bit more balanced. But you can see in possession, they've got low crosses, lower tempo, and extremely narrow. Nothing too complicated there. In transition, you've got roll it out, distribute to the centre-backs, slow pace down, counter and counter press. And out of possession, you've got defend narrower, higher defensive line, much lower line of engagement, prevent shorter goalkeeper distribution, and use offside trap. If you want to pause the screen at any point and note those down, you're very welcome to do so, of course. But those are the general team tactics. If we look at the player instructions, you can see the goalkeeper has got take more risks on there. You're going to want to pause these. I'm not going to run through all of them, but if you pause on each and every one, 4 of them on this player, same for both the defenders, 6 on the left back, 7 on the defensive midfielder. There are a lot of player instructions loaded up here, so just pause the screen on each of these if you want to make a note of them. The easier way to do it is just to download the tactic with the link in the description, and then you can just drop it into your documents for Football Manager 2019, and you'll have it there loaded for even for saves that you've currently got on the go. That is definitely the easiest way to do that. So these are the overall instructions. I'm not sure actually if there are specific corner routines. If there are, then you can see them here: defend, attack, left, right for each of them, so you can always copy those if you want. I'm pretty sure they load up with the routine if you import the tactic, you'll be able to have those already loaded up, so you don't need to worry too much about that. Just click the link and download the file. But what we're going to do now is just jump forward. We'll start with Arsenal, then we'll look at Newcastle and see how they've managed to do through the season. If we have a look at the Premier League and just see the season preview, then you can see Arsenal predicted to finish 6th, Newcastle predicted to finish 12th. Those are the goals for the season. We want to see how far it can exceed them, if it can exceed them at all. Very few tactics I've tried using the assistant manager route has actually led to a better than expected result, because the assistant managers are terrible. Obviously you will get much better results if you manage this as a real person. But let's go forward and see how Arsenal managed to do using this tactic. Well, we are now 1 year into the future. We're just going to jump straight into it with Arsenal here. And you can see their pre-season went extremely well. They're on a tour of China. They lost 5-1 to Beijing, but they did not have a very strong team out there. It looks like a youth team out there from what I can tell. But they won all their other games pretty well and beat Shanghai SIPG as well. They started off with a draw against Cardiff, which is not ideal, before beating Burnley 4-2. Good result there. 2 late goals, El Neni and Lacazette there. And then they were unfortunate not to win at Anfield. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang with an 87th minute goal, but Firmino a 94th minute equaliser at Anfield. They made up for it though with a 3-0 destruction of Manchester City before losing to Palace, and then getting back-to-back wins against Manchester United at home, 3-2 and then 3-1. Fantastic there. 6 goals against United in 2 games is not a bad turnaround. Little poor patch of form here. They lost to Spurs 3-1, outplayed really, and then drew with Fulham as well. But then a really nice winning run here, taking out a lot of medium teams, not too many great teams. They did lose to Newcastle 1-0, Divock Origi with the goal there, but then 2-0, 7-0, 4-1 win over Chelsea. Iwobi, Lacazette and 2 for Aubameyang again, before being knocked out on penalties. That 4-1 win came at Stamford Bridge. That is a cracking result. A few more good wins here. Draw against Leicester's not ideal. Lost to Liverpool 2-1. A bit of trouble playing Liverpool at the moment. Drew with Man City though. So taking points off their rivals. Drawing with Barnsley in the FA Cup. Drew with United at Old Trafford as well. Again, a late goal denying them a victory. Got past Barnsley in the FA Cup. Into the Europa League, they did lose 2-1 away from home. Again, 2 really late goals, and this is probably something that would stop if you were managing this team in real life and you were not using the assistant manager in a holiday mode, because you do not concede this many late goals as a player manager, because you make substitutions, you change your tactic, you make it work, and that's what the assistant manager can't do. But they did manage to get past Villarreal, 3-0 win late on in that game, but then lost 6-1 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. That is embarrassing. 5 goals for Harry Kane. He must have loved that result. 6-1 win for Spurs there, not ideal. But they managed to get past Bayer Leverkusen as well, 3-1 win. And then 2-2 away from home secured the result for them. A couple of late goals in both those games. And then through in the FA Cup as well, 3-0 against Newcastle. Joe Wilcott getting 2 goals there. They then beat Manchester United 3-0 in the FA Cup as well, semi-final there. Aubameyang with a hat-trick, beating Ajax 4-1 as well. Aubameyang scoring a lot of goals here. They did lose to Ajax in the next game, but that doesn't matter too much because they got into the final. And you can see they also beat Chelsea 3-0 in the league as well, so the results keep coming in. In the semi-final of the Europa League, beat Leipzig and then beat them again 2-0 at home, getting a nice few wins here. Beat Leicester 3-1 in the Premier League, and I think it's the FA Cup after this, and they did beat Spurs 3-1 in the FA Cup, getting some revenge for the Premier League result there by taking home the FA Cup. And they also won the Europa League as well. Olivier Giroud, well, look at this, 87th minute, Aaron Ramsey with the goal. Olivier Giroud got a 92nd minute equaliser in the FA Cup final before Lucas Torreira in the 93rd minute in extra time got the winner for Arsenal, and they did manage to do the double this year. They also finished 4th in the Premier League, so back into the Champions League through the league rather than necessarily having to rely on the Europa League. But 6 points ahead of Manchester United, finished 10 points clear of Chelsea, and were only 6 points off the title, which when you look back at some of their Premier League results, losing to Palace, lost to Spurs home and away as well, lost to Newcastle, lost to Liverpool as well. So I mean, there's a few results in here that they turned them around. They would have won the league this year. I mean, even at the end of the season, if they'd just beaten Wolves and Huddersfield, they would probably have been much better off. They'd have 6 more points. They'd be at the top. And they would have had better goal difference as well. They would have won the league if they'd beaten Wolves and Huddersfield. So this tactic works exceptionally well. And there were so many close results in there with late goals. that for Arsenal, it got them way above their 6th place expected finish into 4th place, 2 cups alongside that as well. But the real test is how will a mid-table, bottom of the table really, team like Newcastle do using the exact same tactics. So let's go and have a look at Newcastle 1 year into their season. Well, here is Newcastle's season. As you can see, pre-season they were completely unbeaten. No major teams in there. Did draw Fiorentina, but started the season off with a 2-1 win against Burnley. Another late goal conceded here. Lost 4-3 to Bournemouth. Another late goal here. 93rd minute winner for Bournemouth. Very unfortunate. But then picked up a couple of wins. Drew with Fulham. Another late goal conceded. They'd have so many more points if they weren't conceding these 90-plus minute goals. 3-0 win over Wolves. 1-1 with Watford. But beat Chelsea 4-1. It wasn't even that close. Muto, Hayden and Lascelles getting goals to make it 4-1. Did lose to Palace, and 95th minute equaliser. Man City nearly lost to Newcastle as well. 95th minute equaliser saving them. Did beat West Ham. Lost to Liverpool 3-1. Again, 90th minute goal conceded. Beat Spurs 3-1 with 10 men as well. That is a pretty impressive result. But did lose 5-0. Kennedy sent off. This is something you have to watch out for. You will get a lot of red cards with this tactic. You have to keep an eye on players and tell them to stop getting stuck in when they pick up a yellow card. You have to do that during the game, otherwise you will rack up the red cards. 2-1 win over Cardiff. Lost 4-3 to Arsenal. 2 late goals yet again costing them. Lost to Everton as well. 77th minute winner for Everton. Did beat Manchester United 2-0. Kennedy with 2 goals there. 73rd minute goal against Leicester, causing them a defeat. Went out of the FA Cup to Cardiff, of all teams. Draw with Bournemouth as well. Did lose to Wolves. Another red card in there for them. 5-3 defeat to Chelsea. Late goal for Morata there, but they got a late goal themselves, so nothing changed there. Did manage to beat Watford, and also drew with Man City as well. Beat West Ham there. Muto with a hat-trick. Wins over Huddersfield and Southampton. A 90th minute winner in their favour, but a 96th minute penalty given away. Lost to Spurs 2-0. 2-0 over Cardiff, 2-1 over Everton, 91st minute. So many late goals. This is a ridiculous system, but it's because of the assistant manager that this is happening, and you know that's the case. 4-1 win over Liverpool though, 2 for Perez, 2 for Muto, and then lost 3-0 to United on the final game of the season. And when you look at the table, they finished all the way up in 5th place. They're almost exactly where Arsenal were at this point. But 5th place, 5 points off Chelsea. Given the number of points they dropped at the last minute, that is extremely impressive. 2 points clear of Manchester United, 6 points clear of Spurs as well. And I have to say, this is without a doubt the best tactic I've seen used in this game, because you are at a massive hindrance having the assistant manager take this forward for you. And because of the way that it's set up, you have these players in every club. It's a couple of central midfielders, a couple of wingers, a couple of strikers. Almost every team have those. It's not like the striker list where you've got 3 attacking midfielders and there aren't that many good ones in the game. There are great players in all of these positions. They're traditional positions as well. Fullbacks, defensive midfielders, inside forwards, advanced forwards. It's only the one shadow striker and the segundo volante you might struggle to pick up, but everybody else you already have in your team. So definitely go, click that link, download this tactic, and let me know in the comments how it works for you, if it turns your form around, what you win, how well it goes out. There are a couple of other tactics in that link as well that you should try out, but I'm pretty sure that this one is the best. So make sure you click that download button, and also hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying this content. There will be lots more content on the way, so do hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and until next time, see ya.